Hi, my name is Ellio, and today I'm going to show you how to apply urBasics tape. Let's get started. For me, I start with the Nipple Areola covers. Everybody does this a little bit differently. The trick I have found that works for me is to use this tape, fold it in half, apply it to another piece, and stick it on. So I'm going to show you how I do that now. I start by cutting. This is the one that I have found works best for me. I like to cut the tape itself and use it as the covers. It's a nice little trick I found out recently. Use my longer one here, and this will be the piece that I use to stick everything to. Alright, so I fold this guy in half to begin with. I always do a little rip so it's just a little easier to grab. And again, this one's just going to be the cover, so it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And just fold it in half. There. And then this will be the strip that I cover with. It's a little bit of a larger strip, but this will be the piece that I put these onto and then affix it. So cut this in half. Again, to make your life a little easier, just rip down one of the lines so you have a bit of a handle. That way you can hold it. So yeah, just repeat the process twice. Now I trim these just a little bit so they fit a little better on the square. This is just to cover the areolas. You really don't want the tape sticking right onto your nipple. It will hurt when you're taking it off, and it's just not healthy. Anyways, yeah, apply those on there. Apply it on there. And there you have it. You have your two covers all ready to put on. Okay, step 2. I like to start with 4 pieces. Some people will start with 3, just depends on what size you are. I've found that being a C plus size, it helps if I start with 4 to get the right taping for me. It might take a little bit of experimenting though, don't be afraid to try it out a couple of different ways. And again, the way I'm showing you may not work for you, but this is the way I have found as a plus size works for me. So I've cut my 4, now I'm going to round the corners. You want to do that just so that when it's taped on you, it doesn't pull at the corners, making it uncomfortable, especially if you plan on wearing it for a few days. Nothing fancy, just round the edges. And the last part of this step for me is I like to rip it down here. As I mentioned earlier, it makes for a really great handle so that when you are applying this, you're not touching any of the sticky part. Okay, ready for the next step. For this next part, you take this and we're going to cover it entirely like that. So you're going to place it on. You really want to make sure you rub because that's how this adhesive sticks. So like that, and then as I said, I leave that little handle there so it's easy for me to apply everything and not touch the edge. So there we go. Just rub it in to activate it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Let's do. There we go. Just rub to activate it. Yeah. There we go. So this is how I apply this part. It can be tricky to apply this. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I have found that this works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. When you're applying it, you gotta think of it a little bit like a V, the way you're pulling things. Just remember when you're first sticking it to really rub things, otherwise it's not gonna stick properly. Remember to rub lots to activate. So now I'm going to apply the side, and I have found what works for me is to stick a bit and apply and pull and try to stay a little this way so that you're not, if you pull it a little bit the wrong way, it can end up like wrinkling or creasing funny, but bear with me, you'll see what I do. Make sure that when you're doing this, you really push down on the adhesive and just really give it a chance to activate, because that's part of the trick here. That way you don't get too many wrinkles. Sometimes you're gonna get a few wrinkles, it's gonna happen. It's harder with plus size. So the last step for me is that I like to add these two pieces. Pulls everything up for me and just gives me more of the look that I like. Everybody's different. You may not need to use those two pieces. You might. Have some fun, see what you come up with. Good luck.